everyone, it's LiaDia from liadiadesigns and I'm back with another tutorial. Today we are doing something a little different. I got this new mold and as you can see it is super pretty. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making basically just a piece of kind of like a little display tray. It's not really going to be for use, but it's more to be displayed on a stand or something like that. But I have this great new mold and it's from Molds and Shapes, which you guys know is one of my absolute favorite mold places because they create really unique customized molds. Like they make them themselves and they always have like these beautiful edges and things on that. If you guys remember seeing a video, oh gosh, it was last year probably, that I did where I made some red coasters with my Ultra Glam sparkle effect on it, and it had the coasters themselves had this beautiful edge on them, and I just fell in love with them, and ever since then it's just been you know, I just always want to see what they're making in terms of molds, and this is one of their newest molds they just launched, and as you can see it has a beautiful edging on it here. And you probably can see a little bit of it on camera. It has a holographic effect. Check it out. So it actually has like a holographic effect in, you know, I think it's called engraving or somehow into the mold itself. So as you can see. So the cool thing about that is I'm sure you guys have seen molds like this before in terms of the holographic effect. When you pour resin into it, the side of the resin that's touching the mold will end up getting the holographic effect. So it's really neat, and this is, I believe this mold is called their magical set, and like this is a magical, they have a set without the holographic, so if you don't want the holographic they have it, but if you do like the holographic which you guys know I probably am going to fall in love with just because the effect is just so neat with the rainbows. Then they do have this set here that have the rainbows in them. So what I'm going to be doing is, as you guys know, I recently went to a wedding, and it was my cousin's wedding, and she actually had this made, and this was her cake topper. So it had a stick on it, and I removed the stick, and she had this made. So it's made of, it's kind of made like of a thin wood. I don't even know if it's really wood, but it feels like wood. It even has kind of a texture of wood. It's a really, really thin wood. So she had this made, and she asked if I could do something with it to kind of, you know, set it in resin somehow so she could display it and keep it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be putting this into this tray here, just basically in the center. But another thing that she had made, which was really neat, is she had custom M&Ms made, which was such a cute idea, and I'll show you guys what they look like. So she has a bag, this little bag here. I've already kind of sorted them. There's a few in here, but I've kind of sorted out all the broken ones already. So this bag here shows you what they have. So she has this one here. You guys can see it says thank you. These were given out as her favors, and then some just have the M&M logo. I think the colored ones. So her wedding colors were purple and navy. So the M&M ones are just this typical. And then let's see, she has this one here that says just married, and she had, that's a thank you. There's ones with their names on them. So I have the just married ones. I'm just gonna find out here. So their names were Prass and Shaw. Oh. So you can see she had them with their names, and she even had some with their faces. How cute is that? So they have the little faces on them. So she had these made for her wedding, and they were given out as favors, and I told her that if she wanted me to set some in resin to put some aside. So that's what she did. So what I did do is, like I said, I already sorted them because she gave them to me in the bag that they came in, but there were some broken ones. We can't use the broken ones in resin. I mean, you probably could, but the reason why I believe that candy works well in resin is because it's fully coated and sealed. I've done sprinkle coasters in the past, and I didn't really have any issues. I mean, I made some about 3 years ago, and they still look perfect. So, so that part of it I think is fine. But if they're broken or they have cracks or anything in them, then you kind of run the risk that they can start to decompose, because the chocolate inside will eventually start to decompose over a while. So, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't have any cracked ones. The other thing that I did do, and if I have a clip of it, I'll include it here. But what I did do is I also took each one out while I was inspecting them and also wiped them down with a cloth, because I don't know exactly what happens, but after I received the bag and opened and checked them, a lot of them had like this, I almost want to say it's like almost like a wax coating on them. And I think that was because I'm assuming that when M&Ms makes these, that they coat them in something so that the printing doesn't rub off. I don't know exactly if that was the case, but that's what I was finding. So I was just kind of wiping, and you have to be careful of the ones that have the writing on them, because if you press too hard, you can rub the writing right off. So in any case, I did clean each one because I didn't really want that gunk on the M&Ms when I put them in. So my idea today, and a lot of this is going to be in time lapse because I won't be able to talk through it, so let's just talk through it now, is what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting, pouring a bit of clear resin in here, and I'm planning to put this in upside down. Now, normally when it's just a plain mold, it doesn't really matter which way. I would normally do things facing upwards. This way I can see it and make sure everything's looking the way I want it to look. So I would set it this way, and then knowing that there's no difference between the front and the back. But because we have the holographic here, I mean, obviously if you're okay with the holographic being on the back of the piece, then you can do that. But I'm actually planning to have the clear and then the sign like this. And then I'm going to put another layer on the back. That's probably going to be a sparkle or a solid color. I haven't quite decided yet. But so because of that, I need to make sure that my holographic is on the front of my piece. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, is I'm going to be putting it in upside down like this. And then I'm going to be sprinkling the M&Ms around the edges. So it's going to kind of, nothing too, properly set, but I will try to make sure that the ones that have writing on them will be facing the front of the piece. So in this case, facing downwards, and just kind of sprinkling the M&Ms kind of just around the edges of the piece. It's going to enhance the fact that we have this cool shape, and then, just kind of do some fun with it. So that's the idea. And again, the one thing to keep in mind with these holographic molds is that you can't top coat the side that has the holographic imaging on it, because you'll basically cover it up. So, because the way that these work, as far as I understand, is there's like little, like super fine ridges in the film that they use to imprint onto the silicone. So that's, and then again, the resin's picking up that imprint. So I believe if you pour on top of that, you're just going to lose, the whole holographic effect. So what we're going to be doing is, like I said, everything is going to be done upside down this way. A lot of people feel that's the right way to be pouring into these molds, and that's totally fine. Like I said, with a lot of the techniques that I use, I generally do it the opposite way, just because I'm layering, this way. And normally when there isn't a holographic side, it doesn't really matter. But in this case it does, so we're going to be doing that way. Okay, so as you saw in the time lapse, it's basically the next day now, but as you saw in the time lapse, I did 2 layers. I did a clear layer where I added in their names and then all the M&Ms, and then I did a second layer once that was kind of more than halfway cured, so it was actually like dry to touch. I went in and I added this layer. It's kind of like a frosted, you know, frosted white, like not a full white pigment. I used some mica powder, not fully white, but then I also added some glitter. So we have this happening. Now there is something happening here that I've noticed that it's probably going to make it so I'm going to add another layer to the back, but I'm going to take it out of the mold first, then kind of like top coat the back like the way that we normally would top coat the front. I'll show you. So if you can see in some of these, let's see if I can get the light to shine on it. So like here, you can see there's kind of like little divots, and I'm 99%, I mean, it's on where the M&Ms are, so I'm 99% sure it's actually that wax I was telling you about on the M&Ms that is kind of surfacing here. So I think because the M&Ms were still sticking through on the front, so I think everything was just kind of floating. Sorry, it was the M&Ms were sticking up after, you know, above that clear layer that I did, and then when I did this layer, it's probably just whatever was kind of sitting on the surface of that clear layer probably floated up on this layer. So I think if I put one more layer of just kind of clear or something on the back of this, then that's going to seal all that in, and hopefully that's going to take care of that problem. It doesn't see like it's cured, like the little divots aren't causing any additional problems as far as I can tell. It's just, and really I could probably get away with not adding another layer to the back, but I just might, just to kind of like seal it all and make sure that there's nothing that's going to happen here. So anyway, so that's what's happening there. But I just wanted to show you guys. So yeah, I think there's some sort of coating on those M&Ms. I think because they're printed, custom printed. Because like I said, I've done sprinkles in the past, just kind of straight sprinkles from and actually even last week's video, I did sprinkles in last week's video and there was no issue. So I think it's because they have that kind of a coating. Anyway, let's get this out of the mold. So, and I actually wanted to mention too, I actually used 2 different resins on this piece. So it's going to be slightly flexible right now because it's the clear layer. I used actually a clear casting resin instead of my normal artist thin resin. I used cultured cast. So it's Counterculture's casting resin. It's their 1-to-1 casting. They have a bunch of different ones. It's not the 2-to-1 or whatever, it's the 1-to-1, and it just kind of helped with bubbles. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't, you know, we kind of minimized the bubbles on the front of the piece. So let's take care of that. So here we go. Oh my gosh, just look at that. I love it. And look at that holographic effect. Like it doesn't get in the way of, it doesn't get in the way, you know, it's not distracting from the actual design. So like their names or the M&Ms or anything on there, but it's there. Like when you just, you know, when the light captures it, oh, just look at that. That's so cool. Okay, let's get a closer look here. So, and just like I said, that little bit of a sparkle in the background, it's subtle, but it just helps everything pop. Oh, I love it. I think it just turned out exactly as I was hoping. So what I do want to do, once I figure out what I'm doing with the back, I am going to paint the edges, I think, gold, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to ask my cousin and see what she thinks, if she prefers it with or without the gold edging. But I just think it looks so cool, even just like this. And if I paint the edges, I probably won't paint the edge along, I don't know, we'll see, along the top, but at least on the sides, just to, let's see what the side looks like. It's actually kind of neat seeing the M&Ms on the side too, though, so I don't know. I mean, that would be an option. Painting the edges on these types of molds is really nice, on these type of pieces is really nice because it emphasizes that really beautiful decorative edge that's on this mold, and I just love the shape of it. It's just so cute. So anyway, that is the piece. It's pretty cool. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. And I kind of randomized the picture, you know, the the M&Ms in here. So they're kind of flipped all different ways and stuff. I think that's pretty neat. Some of them are upside down, but I think that's cool. It just kind of gives a really kind of randomized look to it. Like, I mean, I think this is a really cute way to, you know, commemorate, you know, a special event and things like that. I know a lot of people are doing flowers, and I think we're actually going to be doing a flower video coming up soon. But this was just a lot of fun. You know, like I said, because she had these really great M&Ms and things in her wedding, I just thought it was a really cute way to commemorate that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope that you liked the final product. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think. And have you tried anything like this where you're putting candy or anything in resin, or have you made any kind of, you know, wedding related pieces that you're really proud of? I'd love to hear what you guys are up to. So let me know in the comments. If you're looking for any of my socials, such as Instagram or my website even, or I've got a TikTok and a Pinterest, I've got all these things. But if you're looking for that in any way, or if you want to send me a coffee, the